is 420, our second contractual break of the season. Started with the Masters and ends on one of the most special holidays in the Colorado Stoner Rifting. I'm your host, Kevin. With me, of course, Raph Esparza, proving fighting easier from outside the cage because, well, there's very little drug testing that goes on out here. Raph, how are you doing?
I'm good. How hard are you going on your 420?
It's time for Verbal Tap, the show that proves something about fighting. I am your host, Kevin. With me, Raph Esparza. Raph, how you doing?
I'm
What was
good.
the question? I'm good. I started
Mm-mm.
early. I'm still here. I just, if it happens in the episode, that's not on purpose. You need to treat it as a memory blank. I just wanted to prepare you. I have a fun... I woke up this morning to a fun email from a very early rising stoner that is in one of the classes I teach. And it said, and I quote, "Bro, do we really have our first class on 420? Exclamation point, question mark. To let me know this is an emphatic question." I had to politely respond to young student, excuse me, I don't know their age, to student with very immature views on what an actual holiday is. It's not a real holiday. Not a real holiday. We are going to still have class.
Not according to my textbooks. George Washington crossed the Delaware Blue so that we could have
Green.
rights. Mm-hmm.
If you celebrate the weed arts, congratulations. Raph doesn't. Nature.
Oh,
I
hold
do.
on.
Nurture.
Hold on. I took a gummy today.
Oh, that's right. You're in on the mini gummies. This is
Yeah,
fun.
occasionally. But you know what? Like today, I think I took a gummy because of the most silly of reasons. But my dogs were pissing me off. Like they kept abusing me with the amount of barks that they were doing at me that I looked at them and was like, yo, calm. Yo, quit it. Fuck this, I'm getting a gummy. And then I just calmed down and I was fine.
No one's making you two fight or find us food. You don't even have to bring ducks back to us. Because let's face it, you're not big enough and it's gross. I just need you to be quiet while I edit. That's all I need. Dogs, I'm with you.
Yeah, dude, it's like, what, 9 hours of interview content I'm trying to edit? And these dogs are like, woof. And I go, what do you want? Do you want to walk? Woof. See, this isn't specific. Woof. Oh, God. And then the other one starts, and you look at him and you go, listen, the two of you guys have to just chill for a little bit. I need this gummy to feel something different. That's fine.
I am going to try some take theater on you.
Okay.
Today, Raph. I have some bold predictions I'd like to throw at you throughout the show before I ask you a little bit more about the topic you just discussed.
Yes.
Which is ADCC. And
Yes.
if you want more, you being the audience, third wall, head on over to the Grappling Hour, where you're going to get to see an endless amount of content with some of the most up-and-coming and some of the most dominant grapplers in the game right now, including who's coming up, which is why I want to talk to Raph about ADCC, because I want to get some gambling in. The Grappling Hour, but I want to throw what I think is one of the best ones at you early. Either Conor McGregor or John Jones will fight in the UFC in 2022, Raph, before this year passes. And I want to add a caveat. I think it's going to be Conor McGregor, and I think John Jones will voluntarily join Ukraine in the front lines to be able to bring some of his police justice to the Ruskies.
Thank you. I'm glad that you brought up the real topics out there, Kev. Let's start with this. You know, Connor is just getting bulkier for whatever reason. We don't quite know. And John Jones...
He and I are both doing that, and we're doing it as a statement that you can be you at whatever shape you are or size.
That's fine. He just continuously looks like he's getting pumped up with more air, like a tire. So Sure.
Actually, he does have every time. It's like he's the Michelin Man up top, but still just skinny jeans McGregor down low.
You just see Data in the background trying to figure out a weight class for him and just psst, 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 psst.
Hey,
Is
boss
he
man.
fucking big yet? Fuck him. Get him to fucking Usman's size. Psst, psst, psst.
Me chesties too big.
So, okay, you brought up a John Jones thing. Did you know that they're proposing a fight between John Jones and Stipe Miocic, which would be amazing in 2018?
And just out of curiosity, has John Jones' parole officer weighed in on that, or are we still waiting?
I think we always wait for the official statement that they release after they arrest him. So hold on, everybody. That's a lot of time because they're targeting International Fight Week, which is that July 9th-ish thing.
They're big fans of International Fight Week. I told you I'd be shocked still if they get John Jones sober back into the cage, especially after some things. And frankly, can you imagine how many police officers would be like, good luck, Kremlin. He's a real piece of work. That would be amazing. The amount of tweets from like, Kate Wade's, what's the county in Vegas? What's Vegas's county? Is it DeKalb? I think that's.
Are you talking
Georgia.
about is DeKalb and there's Henderson, which is right out.
I'm talking about DeKalb and Henderson County police sheriffs are gonna be like, thank God, the moment they find out John Jones' passport to Ukraine has been tested. It's just like, think about it. It's a good chance for him to take some of his weird photos and his energy and his nighttime violence and put it towards a good cause.
Well, it's also time to redirect that money, Kevin, because you know that there's just one department that's dedicated to John Jones shit.
The FBI is like, we can pass this over to the CIA, finally. And immediately the Soviets are going to be like, oh, damn it. He's really annoying with his tweets. We're like, we know. It's like, he killed someone and quoted the Bible. It's like, oh, he loves doing that. It's one of his greatest. Yeah. You should see when he's covered in tattoos. He looks like Memento if the character already knew what was going on and then forgot. It's great. There's nothing more precious to me also than Dana White's allegiance.
Mm-hmm.
Dana White's not getting off the John Jones bus. We are going to get off the John Jones bus.
Oh, but before we do, quick survey. Do you remember the last time John Jones fought in the UFC?
I really do not. Daniel Cormier, 3?
No, it was more recent than that.
Was it Ngannou?
Mm-mm. It is Dominic Reyes back in February 2020. He predated the pandemic, Kevin. So before any of us had lockdowns and all of us were saying, oh, the masks are off, we beat COVID. Woo! All of those days, Kevin. That was the last time he was in the cage.
Crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
I can't. That seems both surprising to me and a lot closer than I would have thought it was.
Yeah, but it's also still 2 years. That's still a significant amount of time. So if he fights this, what is it, July that they're proposing? It's about what, like 26, 27, 28 months that we're looking at. The dude has just been getting bulkier for a big boy division.
28 months off for bad behavior. Yeah. From the UFC, it's like a reverse sentence every time. Raph, tell me about some good people. Well, okay. I don't know. I think Keith Krikorian's in it. Tell me about some of these ADCC champions. Who should I be on the lookout for? You know, if people want to get the full, but I want like the 3 to 5 minute, hey, you need to see these people. Here's the athlete stories, but I don't want to give them too much here because they're not working hard enough for it, right?
Yeah, you want the tease. You want that headline shit.
They're going to be 1 minute in and be like, I've got to listen. I got to go. I got to run, not walk to grappling hour.
So first interview that went up was J. Rod, a.k.a. Nicky Rod's little brother, who qualified for ADCC trials, or I'm sorry, for ADCC Worlds is how they refer to it. But that is going down this September.
Oh, there's another rod out. How big is this one?
He's smaller, so he's not as big. And as I told him off air, I'm like, it's just nice to see someone who uses steroids properly. And I think there was a decent laugh on that one. Should have saved that for air, but I didn't. And, I mean, like, here's the nice part. He is very, very down to earth, very nice, super respectful. But I begin the interview by asking him, how do you introduce yourself? Because when I introduce myself, I do try to tell people, like, hi, my name's Raphael. You can call me Raph. Let's just get straight to it. Because the whole reason it is just half the name is just so we can get past it. You don't mispronounce it. You don't say dumb versions of it. You don't try to ask me, like, well, how do you say it? It's just, here it is. Call me Raph. It's totally cool. So I go, do you go up to people and do you tell them, hey, I'm J-Rod? Because I don't have a weird nickname in that sense where it's like half of my name in half of the other one. And he's like, yeah. He's like, I go up to people and I just go, hey, my name's Jay. You can just call me Jay. And I go, oh, well, that's good to know. So he talks about that. He talks about his journey, how he was able to fast track. And yes, Kev, this is the best part. Off air, I told him, I go, hey, man, so I've heard you've been training for only 18 months. And he didn't say this in an impolite way, but he definitely did correct me. He goes, 17. I was like, does that matter?
He hit you with the details matter journalist guy.
I guess so.
It's
and
like, and when is it 18? It's like, Tuesday. I'm going to punch you, J-Rod. Young Rod.
Well, the dumb part is, Kevin, do you know where I would get a stat like that? By listening to Flow Grappling. And guess what? It was wrong. So that just goes to show, never listen to Flow Grappling. Inaccurate news, fake news. So when I'm telling him, like, oh, it's been, 18 months? 17.
I'd call myself Hot Rod, I think.
That's the missing Nicky Rod brother.
We're going to bring in Hot Rod. And it's overweight me, just in a singlet. It's like, let's get this threesome match going.
So he's great. The next day, which was today, Brianna St. Marie, who is amazing. So here's the nice part, Kev, and I can tell you this. The struggle of doing these interviews is difficult when you talk to a person who wins, say, the East Coast trials and is a woman, and you say, well, that's great. Congratulations. It means nothing. And yet still say, like, it's a remarkable achievement. All you get is the high seed for the West Coast trials. So you can essentially just show up at West Coast trials and still do the thing. You may not have the number 1 seed, but guess what? Not every 1 seed wins. So it's some bullshit. So I told her, I was like, you can't say these things, but I can. And it's kind of bullshit. But guess what? She won them both. She won the East and the West Coast. So in my head, she is a double trials champ who should not have to do it again. But
she's a badass, too. She's from EBI to others. She's a badass.
And Kev, so nice. The thing that made me laugh the most is that off air, she tells me, she's like, I always get nervous, but I always I'm cool doing with like these kind of interviews with you because you do a good job of making me feel comfortable. I said, oh, thank you so much. And I get off the phone call and I look at my phone, and right after she said that, she put up a photo of her sweating profusely, like showing her shirt and how much she was sweating. And she goes, just did a podcast. And I go, why would anybody get that nervous to talk? It is astounding to me. And I know that it is so funny to me where I'm like, didn't you just go into the adversity of winning 2 trials and not so much as bat an eye? But it's like me asking her, like, tell me about your journey. And her going, shit, okay, here we go. Oh, no, Raph asked me what Netflix I watch. Shit.
Do I lie and say, Bridgerton? Or do I just be like, look, I'm crushing Arrested Development reruns?
I mean, here's the best part is she lobbed it in because I said, what do you do in between the nights? And she says, oh, I get some food, my Netflix, I fall asleep, I wake up the next morning, and then I just kind of eat some breakfast. I go, you said Netflix. She goes, right. Yeah. Shit. I'm both happy and a little nervous to tell you what it is. And I got to tell you, it's not a bad answer. One that you got to get by watching the interview. Wham. Let's see. Tease.
Pro. That's a pro. That's how you know he's not celebrating 420. Too clear of mind.
No.
Too clear of mind.
The rest of this week looks like this. Keith Krikorian, his interview goes up tomorrow. By the time you listen to this, it'll probably already be up. Check that one out. That's an hour and a half because, first of all, super happy for Keith. But second, his match-by-match detailed analysis is so unique and so good, and he talks so respectfully about his opponents. Shocker, I know. And Keith also is having a seminar over at New Ground Jiu-Jitsu here in Los Angeles. It's going to be in Sherman Oaks. That's May the 4th. So, I don't know if you know this, but Keith is a huge Star Wars nerd. So he's actually doing a seminar on Star Wars Day known as May the 4th be with you. Just letting you guys know that. You guys can find out more information about that at newgroundjiu-jitsu.com. If you want to come, say hello. That'd be great. And then Friday is William Tackett. Next week, we've got another series of interviews, and we can talk about those next week. But Tackett is also man, Keith and Tackett back to back. Just hearing both of them overcome a number of trials between them, Kevin. Before going into this weekend's tournaments, 6 silver medals. That shit will fuck with your head. And
that's a lot. Then
they finally win. Both of them finally got their due and their bids. So it'll be great. This will be Keith's second ADCC. He famously got an invite at the very last minute. And this will be William's first, even though he was the designated backup, or at least one of the designated backups for the last ADCC back in 2019.
Rafa Esparza, I'll do my best, John Anik, coming at you the best of the game and knowing what and where and how you're supposed to enjoy this ADCC, brought to you, of course, by Manscaped and our lovely partners at Fox. He has been tuned up, by the way. I feel like they did the same thing they did with him with the basketball announcers. They put him forward 5 seconds.
Mm.
This is excellent. You are covering the ADCC trials athletes. The ADCC is the biggest event we have in grappling. You should go over and check it out. Are you ready for my next big prediction?
Yes, please. And listen, Kev, when you say big prediction, we technically should see a John Jones or a Conor McGregor fight this year. So what kind of big, hit me with your biggest, riskiest statement that you've got in your predictions.
Oh, okay. Francis Ngannou no longer with the UFC.
Ooh, so you're saying in the time that he takes to recuperate, he decides, you know what? Not for me.
I believe he's finding a new deal. I think he's going to take his sweet time until they move on and he can roll. Till he leverages max payday. I think he's going to leave the UFC.
He go to boxing? Does he go to Bellator?
I'm thinking a lot about this. The XFL. What's going on in the WWE, Ron? There's a lot of buzz, which gets me to bold prediction number 3, and it does relate. Ronda Rousey leaves the WWE. Oh, shit. What's the last letter in it now?
It's still entertainment. Yeah, it's still
out of the WWE. And I'm not going to say she signs a fight, but we're going to see her training judo by end of 2022.
Okay.
Those were my next 2 boldies, and they both had to do with departures. Because I think Francis Ngannou is perhaps, he's huge, very helpful in professional wrestling, especially in the growing world where they're getting smaller. I've noticed. Smaller.
Yeah.
This is great for him. He can piss off Jay. He can make a ton of money. Doesn't put any wear and tear on things because he can just do light stuff. Just do the MMA stuff, right? He brings in. He's Brock without having to throw any chairs.
So here's what I can tell you. Francis Ngannou has famously threatened going to boxing. And I don't know what I feel about that one. I don't know where he falls in the WWE scale, but you're not 100% wrong on the Ronda intuition. Here's the only problem. She just got back. So she just showed back up in January after famously having a baby, because last we left Ronda, she said that she wanted Travis Brown to put a baby in her. Mission accomplished. Had said baby.
I mean, ditto, but
yeah. So
someone won't return my texts.
he, you know, he did it, and she had the kid, and she returned back to the Dubs, and it looks like they have her in the middle of some programs. But people always wonder, they're like, how long is she going to be here for? How long's her deal? Because, priorities change when you become a mother. The question mark is, do you see her taking on kind of a mentor role in the judo world? Because I guess that's not out of the realm of possibility. As everybody starts these subscription services, I'm pretty sure Ronda has one where she kind of teaches you judo. But what would be better than having someone who's been to the big dance kind of show you what it is?
I think that was a master class she did. And I love that concept. Teacher, student. So that's the next. Damn it. Here we go again. Doing the UFC's job for them, and they won't even listen to us. If they called us and they were like, we want to pitch a more manageable Ultimate Fighter. Yeah. Student teacher fights. We're bringing Karate Kid to your home, mother effers. We've got Dominic Cruz and his star pupil against Uriah Faber and his Team Alpha Male, top contender under 25. That's the stuff, Raf. I love it. We get like the videos of them training, trying to get each other. It's like we've got an over 65 match. Ken Shamrock is going to be fighting. I'm sorry. It turns out his opponent has died. One of the Gracies. Here we go. Perfect. And they're top students. That'd be awesome.
Let me see if I can figure this out. We have the Ronda one. We have Connor. We have John Jones.
The Diaz brothers students. It's like AJ Agazarm's fighting a
Ooh.
Paul brother. And one of the Diaz brothers is boxing his coach. It's like, what? Who's happening? Doesn't matter.
So you bring up some good points. Did you know today, on your holiest of days, the UFC was offering some Diaz brother NFTs, and Nate
That
saw
angers
one.
me after finding them 20 times. Sorry, go ahead.
You know what? Let me see if I could read it in his voice. I don't really do impressions, but I do occasionally dabble in trying.
We could make it. Because it's a holiday.
Yeah. So I'll try and do this for Nate. But the tweet that he put out said, "It's shit like this why I need to get the fuck out of this sorry ass UFC. Didn't you guys suspend Nick for 5 years and find me hella money for a vape pen? Now you're reaping the benefits? I hope nobody buys this bullshit. You guys fucking suck." And then there's a whole bunch of thumbs down. So there's specifically 5 thumbs down emojis and 1 middle finger emoji. And I have to say, we are all on Team Diaz on this one.
Remember when we thought the Diaz brothers were crazy? It's like that. All I can think of is that episode in The Office when Pam's pregnant and won't go to the hospital, and Jim's like, "It's 5 to 6 minutes." She's like, "We're fine." And everybody's supporting her, and he's like, "I'm not crazy. She's crazy. I'm not crazy. She's crazy." And it kind of feels a lot like that. Like the Diaz brothers have completely Freaky Friday Dana. 10 years ago, we're like, he's a businessman. These guys need to get their act together. 10 years later, we're like, they're fucking prophets, and he's a criminal. And absolutely, they're right. And we are on that. You can't fine them. Return the fine money. Okay? Start there. Take your BMF belt profits and some other account, I assume, where there's money, and refund the athletes that you've been not only charging, but harassing.
But Can you think about
harassing.
the meeting that went place with some of the UFC people that goes, guys, 420's coming up. I got an idea. How about some Diaz NFTs? That couldn't possibly go wrong. And everybody goes, yeah, good idea. Good idea. Let's definitely make use out of a weed thing. And then there's no way that could be problematic for us here at the UFC. We have great relationships with them. And, even if they don't like us, they can leave, which they're trying to. So
ESPN's going to love it. Disney, another fine day in the Disney Corporation. I like to think there's someone in standards and practices that's constantly just like writing memos to the UFC. Just like, you can't do weed NFTs. God.
It's definitely not mouse house friendly, but I think at this point they just kind of go, whatever makes us money. Like,
fuck it.
Just
go
do it.
They're like, what do you want us to do? Find another Tom Brady show? We can't. This is all we've got.
It's almost like
we should make an NFT of them as Jack, just clinging to the streaming UFC as Rose the Ice. Yeah,
that's a good idea. I am partial in the sense that Disney, in trying to define itself, finds itself at a very interesting time. For example, their new show, Moon Knight, is a little more violent. It's a Marvel property, which they bought and they own. And sure, no big. However, it's still one that they said it's for mature audiences. So it's almost like giving it that hard R rating. And parents were up in arms about it. They're like, oh, this is really making it hard to be a parent. Oh, you guys aren't really family friendly on this Disney Plus. And you go, okay, first of all, cool it. Second of all, it does have parental controls. So you can just create a code or something. I know it requires a little bit of reading. And then number 3, you think to yourself, damn. They do make one point, which is, I don't think you would have ever seen, hey, after Hannah Montana, watch some casual violence on the Disney Channel. No. Bye, everybody.
And we got a little lucky because, when we enjoyed Batman, it was like Adam West out of shape. It was like, I can have a donut. That's Batman, right? Or we were good. This new era of superhero shows doesn't have that same comfort ours did.
Speaking of, did you see the new Batman?
The Robert Pattinson one?
Yes.
No, I've not.
Okay. Good news. Available on HBO Max. Do you know how I know that?
How?
Well, I counted the fucking days. Because famously, my wife and I took one of our very few vacations early March. It was the release weekend of The Batman. And I remembered saying to her, I said, if we're getting away and we're looking to keep it low profile, not do anything super crazy, why don't we go see The Batman? And she goes, oh my God, that's a good idea. Let's go do that. We got closer to the day. She's like, yeah, The Batman. So you want to go see that night maybe, right? And I go, yeah. First night we get there, I go, are we going to see The Batman tonight? Oh, we drove in. I'm really tired. We'll see you tomorrow. I was like, no problem. We wake up the next day, have brunch. I look at her and I go, you look like you need a nap. Are you going to try and fall asleep? I think so. Are we not going to see The Batman today? Now, most married guys know what I'm talking about when I start to get that recognition in my voice, where I go,
are we going to see the urgency?
Are we going to see The Batman? And she looks at me and she goes, no. And I go, fuck. All right. HBO's new deal with Warner Brothers is a 45-day window. I will wait my fucking 45 days because I'm going to be on a show that fucking is going to take the life out of me. So by the time Monday rolls around, she texts me. She's like, what are we doing tonight? And I was like, oh, I'll have dinner ready. No big deal. Just come on in. But we are watching The Batman tonight. And she sends me an angry emoji. And I go, you fucked this up 45 days ago. You could have ended this. But now I'm going to watch a motherfucking Batman be really fucking moody. and just love every second of it. And yeah, Kev, it's 2 hours and 40 some odd minutes. Maybe 2:48 is what I think it is. And I know a lot of people are like, oh no, it's a really long movie. Fuck it. Give me more. I will watch Batman punching goons on a loop for another 2 hours if you got it. Send it my way. Don't even care. When people are like, oh, movies are long, it's like, you know what? Your Netflix series is long. You watch 7 of those in a row. It's essentially like 9 movies. Shut the fuck up. Everybody chill. Take what you get.
Can we park on this for 10 seconds?
Sure.
Because I'm having that same problem internally with the movie The Irishman.
Yeah, of course.
We're just going to talk about long, awesome movies now for a minute. And then it took me like a week and a half to watch that movie.
Yeah, of course.
But I also didn't give a shit. It was like, this was awesome. Did I need this many slow scenes between old Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro supposed to be like 20 years there? And look, that's not the point. Think about how much time and effort Greg Daniels and the cast and the writers of The Office spent cutting that show down to 22 minutes. And now think about A, what a crime that is. And B, if they came out on Peacock now, they'd be 30 minutes, 42 minutes. No one would care. Especially what if we told you, and they've even done this, the super extended seasons. So I'm with you. Let it ride.
Yeah, and here's the thing. You only get a Batman, once every 3 years or so? There was a time, children, where there was no Batman for like 7 years. And you know why? Joel Schumacher. And
Arnold Schwarzenegger. There's a few.
Hey, no, don't blame him. He is not blamable on that one. He collected a $25 million
Stay cool. Put it on ice.
It's just every one of his puns is so good. And you know what? I gave that movie a C+ when I saw it live. I was like, I convinced my friend.
I don't hate it either.
Watch that
I laugh my balls off at times. There's and people are not remembering how awesome the costumes are.
Yes.
Anyway,
what people may not know is when I went to go see that in the movie theater with my friends, we're all teenagers. I looked at everybody before anybody could say, "What'd you guys think of the movie?" I just go, "Hey, like a C+, right?" And everybody goes, and I go, "No, it's a C+. Here's why." And they already want to tell me to shut up, and I go, "I will not accept that. I fucking love Batman. Arnold Schwarzenegger's the shit. George Clooney, probably going to be much better in other shit. Not great in this. And you know what, though? Not a bad Bruce Wayne. I'll say that. When he steps on screen and he looks like he's mega rich and he's going to bang some broads, I believe
Agreed. More of a Bond, too emotionally stable. But
and that movie,
good.
I don't know if you've watched it recently, but one weekend in December, I definitely put on all 4 of them to kind of catch up from the old school. And there's a moment where Alfred, the guy who's playing Alfred, who's the only consistent part of it, aside from Commissioner Gordon, is trying to act as he's dying. And I go, bro, this isn't that kind of movie. We don't need you for real acting in this one.
Yeah, I'd like Michael Keaton. I ride with Val Kilmer. And people talk about that one being terrible, and it's like, you shut your mouth. And I have found people aren't on board with my B-. B?
C+, right?
C+? High C+.
It's best because I was the kid who was already reading reviews at a young age, and they're all scathing. They're like, this is garbage. And I go, well, I'll get to the bottom of that when I view it. And I'm watching it, I go, it's pretty bad. Oh, man. But that was an era where you're paying, $5 per movie? Fine. Take my $5. That was perfectly okay. I would pay $5 again for that movie. Now, Kev, I will say, one thing that did work for Batman Forever, Jim Carrey. Very funny Riddler.
Great Riddler.
Caused problems with Robin Williams, who was supposed to be the Riddler, but then they were like, let's just get Jim Carrey, because they fucked over Robin Williams a few times. Welcome to the Batman podcast, by the way. I'm not sure you guys want this, but you're getting it anyway.
There was somebody checked their radio 10 minutes. He was like, what the fuck happened?
Why is Raph's impassioned defense of Batman and Robin on this mixed martial arts? I wasn't even done.
I was about to be like, I'm ready for a youthful Batman. I'm here for it. I'm kind of tired of geriatric Batman. I mean, Ben Affleck, it's like, great. Batman's got a drinking problem. The coup de grace I needed while my James Bond's going through knee rehab and shoulder surgery over on this. It's like, let me swivel chair to other old characters. It's like, I'm ready for some youth.
That's why they give you the Fast and Fury, Kev. But. So they get on this
a decade ago, those guys aren't looking young anymore, Raph. Like, you look at by 11, it's they're souped up walkers. They're just like, look at this scooter. This thing goes 108. It's like, I live my life a quarter mile. Well, the scooter's a little faster. So,
there's a reason why Vin Diesel is trying to cap it off on these last two. But I say, let it roll, man. We're going to want to see this forever and ever. So, yes, if you like...
They're at a retirement community, and Kirk Douglas shows up like, we've got a problem. It's great.
Not even racing for pink slips. It's just for
this time they couldn't
Jell-O.
do it. They were like, we didn't have the budget, so we just shot it in the rec room at Shady Pines.
They're just playing the Fast and the Furious game. It's just a video game of them that they're controlling in a steering wheel. But this one, Kev, Riddler's in it. It's kind of scary. It's kind of cool. I think you'll enjoy it, but it's essentially on your HBO now. So that's what you need to know.
Deal. Oh, and, Bilal Muhammad, B. Vincente Luque, and other fights happened.
Yeah, so this is the part when we should reveal to all of you who were waiting for analysis of this weekend's fights.
Both of you. There's two people, tops, and they knew they weren't getting that well into the Batman discussion, Raph. Well,
I would say right when we came in with our crystal ball and we're like, imagine a world in which Francis Ngannou maybe goes to the WWE. Yeah, we didn't watch it this weekend. Okay. But the headlines were Bilal had an exciting fight to Bilal Muhammad. Everybody else, very bored. And it seems like he's able to neutralize people very well. So that's a big concern. He called out Colby Covington because why not?
Right.
In other news, there was some other boring stuff. I mean, it was not a significantly great weekend for fights. I tried watching a little bit of it, but you know what I did instead, Kev? I went to go train.
Nice.
And I feel good about that decision.
Well, that makes one of us.
I can tell you, though, in some other news, the ones that we kind of laxly keep an eye on, it seems that this whole Jake Paul thing has taken a new interest, and it seems like he's calling out Michael Bisping, and Bisping is kind of taking the bait here. So are you familiar with what's happening here?
If you had said anyone else, I'd have been like, really? But you said Bisping, and all of a sudden I'm interested.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to hear him all scuffed up and British angry, and then they clip to the Paul brother. He's like, yeah, I didn't understand a word of that, but I'm going to knock this guy out. And I'm here for it. Wow. I was about to be really out, but I'm really in. No, I know nothing about this, and I feel so good about my life choices. Go on.
Everybody's kind of, and Cormier saying, like, why are you calling out Bisping? There's a former UFC fighter who's boxing right now. His name is Anderson Silva. I don't see you calling him out. You're seeing Bisping going back and forth with him on Twitter, all that sort of stuff. But Bisping's like, dude, just send me a contract. I'll do it. Like, I don't give a fuck. Someone has to beat the shit out of you. He's like, you keep calling out retired people. Like, why are you doing this? Why aren't you fighting boxers?
I don't care
why
at
aren't
all.
you doing that?
This is hilarious. That must have been Bisping's argument, right? Why are you calling out retired fighters?
I think Bisping's in a place
Because
of
you and I know why he's calling out retired fighters. It's fucking amazing. It's genius. It's not even that overtly clever. It's just smart.
yeah. So that's good news to know.
Where are you on that? Are you excited about that or worried it's the death of the sport you cover?
No, I don't. I mean, listen, our sport is plenty dumb and plenty resourceful to get through dumb.
We'll go take a
Because
look
as
at
long
this
as people
weekend's
love the
fight
dumb,
card.
they will always show up in droves. So there's that. Also, Henry Cejudo back in USADA testing ? So
Allegedly,
he may be looking to try and take on Peter Yan or something. I don't know, dude. He keeps saying he wants to go to another weight category, and I said, Yan. Okay, cool.
a little bit of a pun there too, on accident.
But like, don't you get tired of this? Like, Henry Cejudo is saying
Worst retiree. Yeah. Let's give him the verbal tappies. Who's keeping notes around here? We need to give a future verbal tappy for worst retired fighter to Henry Cejudo. Yeah.
Kevin has no chill and just goes, I'm not going to remember this. It's 420 now. It's
Fuck
not
it.
in 8
He
months.
gets an award.
He just gets the award now.
Titanic came out. Call him. We're giving it to Leo. He just gets it.
Yeah, I can tell you, Kevin, it's weird, but when this dude retires and goes, no more Triple C, and all of us go, I don't believe you. That's a bad idea. And then you think to yourself, okay, Dana,
didn't you just win your second title? And you're like, that's it, motherfuckers. Adios. We're like, is it? It doesn't feel like it.
It's like, why would you stop now? Your momentum's gone.
What was all this for then? Like, what are you talking about?
But you know what, dude? You've been fighting for a long time. You've been wrestling for a long time. If you want the break, take the break. But then it's been this unending, if I were around, I would kill things. Okay, you could have easily have just stuck around. And you would have been actively fighting. Yeah, well, I'm trying to milk up my price a little bit on Dana. Not working. Guarantee you. You're probably not that big of a draw on pay-per-view. Dana, when asked about it, goes, he thinks he's going to get back to the front of the line. He's got a long way to go. Almost as if to insinuate, yeah, he's got to work his way back up, which is kind of a sad thing when you go, I'm going out on top. And Dana goes, the shit you are, down to the bottom.
I also don't believe Dana for 2 seconds.
Nobody believes Dana. It's just everybody feels weird about this one. We either look at Triple C and go, dude, if you're just going to be this weird heckler on the outside, then I guess that's a good deal for you. But I don't know, man. Every time you say you're going to fight, it just makes me yawn. And it's not that you're a super boring fighter. It's just, this is the worst way to retire.
The things you say are super. Hey, worst retiree.
Oh, I didn't even tell you this. Holy fuck. How did I not mention this, Kevin? It was supposed to be a much nicer mention of Henry Cejudo this week. Do you know why?
I do not.
One of my pages, I swore I sent you this, but I completely didn't. One of my pages from NBC got engaged this week.
Idiot.
Yes, thank you. Do you know who helped him get engaged?
Henry Cejudo?
Yes.
Why?
I don't know.
Are they friends? Was he?
So this is a hard one to really put into context, Kev. It's very strange because
Jealous.
Yeah, you should be. He definitely pumped this one in the weirdest of ways because I wasn't sure I was reading this right. You know, he follows our page, and sometimes when I'm scrolling through Instagram stories and seeing what people are up to, I'm thinking like, oh, that's kind of weird. Yeah, my entertainment friends aren't always on this account. So when I saw that, I go, oh, it's one of our entertainment friends. And this is definitely it. So I'm going to play what he was saying. Let me know if you can hear it.
Yep.
Show you right now. Okay.
So here he's saying, Henry Cejudo sent that video. So he's setting it up to the woman he's about to propose to.
Yeah. So what's up, everybody? King Triple C here, the Olympic champ, the flyweight champ, and the bantamweight champion of the world. And this special message is for you, Haley. And you may be wondering, why is it that I, the Triple C, the greatest combat athlete of all time, is gracing you with my presence? The only reason why is because I know you're a special girl, and there's something that Triple C does best. That's right. I'm making people bend the knee. And somebody by the name of Tenzin hasn't done it yet. I tell you what, I'll let him take over. Cue the music.
And at this point, Tenzin went to go propose to her.
Dope.
So,
I mean, first of all, nailed it, Cejudo. Just crushing and I love this as a setup. This is good.
okay, so I haven't asked Tenzin about this, but normally when I see things like this, it's a highlight that, say, you see from an MMA junkie that goes, Henry Cejudo helped someone get married. Because this didn't pick up any traction, my thought process was, wait, is there a marry me button on his cameo? Like, is there a thing where it goes, hey, Henry Cejudo, I noticed on your cameo there's shout outs, business ones, and marriage proposals. So is this like a thing he says for bending the knee? Is this like a stock line where you pay X many dollars and you go, yeah, I will help you get married? And then the other thing was I was thinking was like dude, Tenzin, I haven't seen you in a few years, but I know you're an MMA fan. Is she?
I am going to mention, like, it would be super helpful if the person you're proposing to knows who that is.
And that's the thing, Kev. It seems like it's their kind of connecting thing. I don't know.
Great, because
if
if Anderson Silva, Conor McGregor, George St. Pierre, Matt Hughes, the whole tribe got together and were like, Kevin's wife, she'd be like, who the fuck is staring at me? She'd have no clue.
Could you have imagined if I was too broke to get a cameo, so I just had to do the voice myself, and I'd be telling
the
Kelly,
Diaz brothers are here.
be like, hey, Kel, why don't you click that? What is this? I think the Diaz brothers, they sent us that video that we had asked for.
Christopher Walken.
Kelly, wow.
You should
so beautiful.
Get married.
You should look closer at the box.
I was just watching the Gilbert Gottfried 30 Rock, the Jamie episode. Cut your mouth. I'm giving it out. You're gay.
So all I could think about was, I was like, yo, it would be so funny if it's like the Diaz brothers do this on their cameo and you just hear, yo, you're like a fucking fine ass bitch. This dude's a fucking street thug. You guys need to just fucking get on and fucking go get married. Anyway, do it or don't. I really don't care.
We should.
Hey, how much am I getting paid for this? Oh shit, I didn't press that off. Sorry.
We should produce the Diaz podcast. I don't know how we get it on producing it.
Well, I'm only a degree and a half away from knowing them, which is both amazing and also somewhat terrifying because I do this impression. Or I'm sorry, I occasionally just kind of throw out a version. Nate has always come on our show.
There you go.
So, but yeah, I thought you would enjoy that. So anyway, Cejudo, retirement, bad. Helping friend, good.
Yeah. Well, tune in next week when we give out the verbal tappy for most likely to help some friends. Bend at the knee. It's about recent deeds. It's week to week. I think, Raph, anything else before we call it for this lovely 420?
I think we did it. I think we did all the things. I don't know if there's fights this weekend, but I know they are next weekend. So If you guys are watching and there are fights this weekend, enjoy them. This is how much prep I've gone into this week. So you can tell I'm more in ADCC mode where I'm like editing these videos and I go, what's happening outside? Don't know.
I would also really like to. There's no way I'm going to be able to like get the UFC fight booker alone and then videotape like me giving them shots of tequila and being like, name 5 fighters from this past weekend. Name 5, just to see what their response is and be like, Robin Williams, like, no, that was the guy that obviously almost played the Riddler once and was in Miss Doubtfire. It's like, oh, snap, I think even they struggle at this point. A lot of fights.
Shit, there are fights this weekend. It is the Andrade and Lemos fight, which can't get enough of that one. Clay Guida's on it. Chase Sherman, we know.
Fucking way. Jesus, Clay.
Macy Barber, Jordan Wright, we know. Dwight Grant, we know.
Oh.
So there's a couple people.
Yeah, that's
so
not bad as I talk shit.
I would apologize to these people, but if you know us, you know what our deal is. So you don't get apologies on the show.
I do like the Andrade and the Guides, but Clay Guida like is one of the main events of this card.
Yeah,
Cool.
Yeah. So if you happen to see that on the TV this weekend, watch it. Because we might not. But for the most, hey, listen, we're gonna try. We're gonna see what the weekend looks like, right?
It's always ESPN Plus. It's just like, could you put something on Fox? Like, could you just call your friends, put it on ESPN College? I know it doesn't make sense. Oh, college MMA teams. What's that a thing?
Ooh, yeah, that would have been a lot of fun.
Oh, Stanford's going against Alabama. All right.
Then it would actually be something of a fight when you hear Clemson versus fucking Bama. And people are like, oh, this is the wildest thing in the world. It's like, well,
last year,
no.
two people died at the Florida State tournament. Like, fucking gear up.
Yep.
That'll do it for us tonight here at VerbalTap. I'm Kevin. Thanks for listening and stand up for your right.
Good night and good fight.
Stand up.
The number you have dialed has been changed. The new number is... Please note, the new number is...